So far, I've created two Docker services, but for the first one, before I get to code, I will add some settings that will match the ports in Docker Compose, because I want to start these services without Docker so I could debug them. So let me see, this is the consumer. This is the consumer, and I'll add, let me check the variable name, Spring Boot port. How to change the default port number, server port. Okay, so this is the way. So let me check first that's what I'm having here. So I better introduce DevTools, Spring Boot, DevTools, and it doesn't show up. Let's see, Spring Boot, DevTools. Let's have Spring Boot, DevTools. Yeah, I need to copy only the internal part. And let's have the same for the other service. So basically I will have two consoles that will execute mvn spring boot run. So this is the consumer. Can I rename move group? Oh, the rename session. Okay, so this consumer. And the other console is producer. So this started on port 8080 and this started port 8091, and let's rename this producer. And I need still the RabbitMQ service running here. And so let me just code the minimal code to pass something from one service to the other. First, I'll create a RabbitMQ config, and yeah, package conf, and basically I have RabbitMQ and I need to add dependencies for it, and let's see how it is named. I'm PQ Maven dependency, last update 18 of June 2024, and I'll need this in both producer and consumer. Okay, and let's see if the code now compiles. It does. Okay, so this is the consumer, and I'll paste similar thing in the producer. Okay, so I right now I have same config on both sides, and next thing is yeah, let's first write the service, the consuming side. This is the producer, and let's have a service package. And here it's common to have to separate the communicating layer with the actual business logic. This is one of the principles of Solid, separating the logic and making every component be responsible for minimal amount of things. And if one function needs functionality from another, it is injected. So I'll have a service RabbitMQ. Yeah. And so on the consumer side is consumer service, in its Spring service, and basically consuming RabbitMQ messages is done with Rabbit. Yeah, let's paste it from here. So public void consume number, and let's have it as a long, so I'll be able to pass bigger numbers consumed by the consumer and number. And it seems this is another dependency, or let's see, or maybe the Maven hasn't updated here. RabbitMQ, Spring MQP, annotation. Yeah, let's have this one, Spring Boot starter. Okay, I will update this. Basically, Spring has wrappers for all kinds of stuff, including RabbitMQ. So all versions, all internal dependencies of libraries is done with bump of Spring Boot starter template. Bumping this will bump all the three below. Okay, so this is the consumer that just prints for now, and let's have a consumer. Let's create a producer, and yeah, producer. It will be again a Spring Boot service. And here it will need a RabbitMQ template, and basically uh, to probably need a bean that will have it injected. Yeah, the config actually creates a RabbitMQ queue, so I most probably here will be able to use RabbitMQ template. And let's be initialized in constructor with injected value. P RabbitMQ, that's short for parameter. So now we have a random number generator service, and let's have generate and send a random number. And for now, let's just send a random number. Not a random number. Let's send any number. Convert and send. RabbitMQ config queue name, and let's have a 1 or random dot dot next long. And now let's have control F9. This triggers an update, and Spring Boot should be able to reload. Okay, Spring Boot, it seems it failed to update the class path, so I'll need to restart this. So Spring Boot should be started when you have your class path ready. And I seem have forgotten to make it open to the public. So one way is to create a REST endpoint from where it will be produced, or other way around is to have this context here, context to get bean with a class name random number generator service, and random number generator service will basically nothing exposed as REST, but when the application is restarted, this will trigger new as not specified in requirements generating new random numbers to send is not exposed to public, REST or web. And new numbers will be generated on producer service start or restart. And this service is yeah, I'll leave a to do here, generate numbers and send them, and do other things that are in the requirements of the task. But for now, let's have it like this. And on the producer side, I'll hit Control F9 and it will start the app. And here is consumed by consumer new numbers. Basically, this why it does send to, or maybe it's I have, where is the cleanup console, not coast up. Yeah, let's put some, yeah, we have two. I'll select this and I'll make some change here in the producer with like this down print line thing, generating new numbers, and we'll hit Control F9. Okay, why there are two new random numbers? Yeah, for now, let's 696. Let's do it again and see if it generates. Not sure why it actually generates two. And what if I've comment this? Will it still again generate new stuff? Seems not. That seems very strange. And they are not repeating. Yeah, it's totally. It seems fishy. The last one is 921. I'll recompile here. Wow, it created one. Well, minus 59. Maybe it is doing two recompiles or something, or it's doing recompiles. Yeah, you can see it generates two and two different. Basically I'll need to start this, and I'll start this, I'll stop this and put a breakpoint here, and not here but here, and on the consuming side here, and I'll start this as Java applications producer. Okay, I have break the point of receiving a number, so I have started consumer and no Wonk has arrived yet. So I'll release this for one time, and I'm getting a number. And let's see if I change something in the producer. Well, yeah, I'm receiving again new number. It's generating new number, consuming new number, and all seems okay. Not sure what's the problem with when they are started with from the command line, but basically I have producing why this not outputting, here it is, generating new number and outputting it. So this is communication between two services with RabbitMQ. But as my requirements were unclear, I need all the functionality that passes the produced content from the producer to pass to the consumer. I need to have all this content separated from the actual logic of writing the content to the CSV, and the actual generation of numbers and the actual picking of what is a prime number. So I'll try to separate all this logic in a separate services, so all of them will have a service that just passes here, just so the consuming side could be used from message queue or from REST, and the generating side could be the way the random number will be passed will not be merged entirely into the way the content will be passed. So let's have first random I mean prime number picker, and this is on consumer side. And here I'll create a new service. Prime number service. And this service will have just one function, that is public is prime and long. And this code generated by ChatGPT, basically it if the number is below 1, yeah, it returns false, and otherwise it goes in a loop between number 2 and the square root of number. Basically, if it doesn't make sense to loop from 2 to the actual number, but to the square root of it, to the half. So basically half of the numbers are actually could be candidates of prime number. So if could be subject to being able to be n types, n number of types to the number. So the square root of the number, the square 2 root, is basically the element divided by itself. So yeah, this code is generated from ChatGPT. So if number equals e, which is the number, is divided by e with 0 left over, it will it showcases that it is not a prime number, but if the leftover is different, a circle ordered int from the start inclusive to end inclusive. So for so you start from the start inclusive to end inclusive, and if so the function here is non-match, so returns whether no elements of this string match the provided predicate. So if no match of all of these, if all elements divided by percentage by equals 0, it showcases that it is a prime number. And yeah, let's have a Java doc. I basically don't have too big habit of writing all of this, but it is generally a good idea to write documentation on functions that will be used by external layers and external functions, and especially if used by external developers. So no matter how good the function is named, it is always a good idea to have Javadoc and basically a documentation. Javadoc is just a little bit improved command that could be generated by uh, an external tool and generate HTML from it. So yeah, prime number generator. So let's look at the requirement. So I've created a consumer, should consume a stream of random numbers and identify prime number from it, and the identified prime numbers should be written to a CSV file. The order of prime number is not important, however, use so I'll think how to improve this producer consumer so I could better fit the requirement of writing to CSV file.